My relatives want me to pay all their bills because I have a lot of money in my bank account. What happens there? This is the second part of this story. If you didn't listen to the first part, check the video description. My sister-in-law was very upset and furious that I didn't cater to her every demand and paid for a holiday. We had some troublemakers come in because of my sister-in-law. Most of them backed off and understood our position and left us alone. Sadly, the whole family of my husband's side now knows that we have a bank account with a lot of money in it. As sister-in-law had called a lot of family members to whine and reveal the secret. They started gossiping among themselves and their children. Some of the aunts, uncles, and cousins didn't think it was fair that I paid for some college funds for some of the children of cousins, and that I paid for a family holiday. A few days after the conflict with sister-in-law, an aunt and uncle call, something they never do. I put my phone on speaker as I was busy with folding the laundry. They ask how everything is going, how we were coping during the COVID and such. We exchange some stories and then they both go like this. This is the start of the conversation. Aunts and uncle.
Listen, we hear you have some college funds set up for some of the children of some cousins. Is that true?
Me, yes, that's true. I don't lie.
Is it true that you took Mel, Phil, sister-in-law 1, sister-in-law 2, and family with you on holiday?
Yes.
You also have a holiday home, yes?
We do, but what's the reason for asking?
We never knew you had so much money.
Well, a lot of hard work, sacrifices, dedication, and luck were involved in it.
Oh, well, you have to pay for our grandchildren's college funds too. And we want to go on a holiday with our children too. We deserve it too.
Me, stunned silence.
We're family, so you have to pay.
Me, less stunned silence.
Yes, we want college funds for your 6 grandchildren, each consisting of $800,000 for each child. And we want a holiday home like yours, but in location. We already have one we want. We'll send you the details. And that also goes for our family holiday. We're family, and since you have the money, you can pay for us too.
Me, angry silence. They keep on complaining that they deserve it because they're family and family supports each other. My house band, meanwhile, had heard everything and was getting more furious. I had pressed a record button halfway through the convo and asked them to repeat their demands. I finally asked them if they had anything else to say, which they didn't. I just plainly said that it wasn't going to happen, that they might feel they're entitled to my money, but they weren't. I repeated the phrase they and many of the family gave us when Houseband and I didn't have the money and were in a difficult situation because we had a health scare. We asked every family member if we could borrow some money and we would pay it back. Only 3 of the 9 aunts and uncles helped us and we paid them back. The phrase, "It is your responsibility to have and save enough money for the care, well-being, and education of your family. If you can't, then you don't deserve them. We won't be giving you any money." Shocked silence on their side. I told them to pass on the message to the rest and not to call us with such demands. And I hung up the phone. Houseband was very proud. In the weeks that followed, the aunts, uncles, and cousins called with the same. Only those uncles who helped us in our time of need called and told us to say that it is our money and that they have seen enough of it and don't ask for more. One cousin called and asked for a certified loan for a down payment on a house, something I have agreed to. They had the majority saved but came short of $1,000. They had to pay for it sooner as they could get the house sooner. Just now I saw that I received the first half of it. That also caused trouble. Then, with the aunts, uncles, and cousins, we had a Zoom call, and I explained to them my reasons for not doing this. I told them that they could always come when they really needed financial help, but under legal contracts so that neither party would feel themselves cheated. Cousin who borrowed money even showed the certified, notarized loan. Most seemed to understand, not completely happy, but they knew they could come for help. But for some it wasn't. Then came the icing on the cake. I came home last week on a weekday to find a lot of parked cars in an otherwise almost empty street. I had to pass my house in order to park somewhere else, and around 15-20 of aunts, uncles, and cousins had gathered in the front yard. So much for social distancing. Afterwards, it were 3 aunts, 3 uncles, and some cousins and their spouses. I parked the car and walked back home. Another thing that a few people know, don't mess with me. I am told that my right hook is very painful. So while walking back, I called the non-emergency line of our local police station. I told them the situation and telling them that crap might hit the fan. If they could come and assist in case it got out of hand, they would send some cops. And crap hit the fan. The moment I stepped in sight of people, they started screaming, cursing, telling me to pay up or they will make sure that I'll pay one way or the other, all the while cornering me. Some of them poked their finger close to my face and in my chest and arms. I told them multiple times to stop what they were doing and leave. Sometime through this, more cops were called by some neighbors as well, and when they arrived, were trying to get to me. Then one uncle crossed the line. He slapped me. A man of about 6'3" slapped me. A woman of just 5'2" across the face in front of the cops. The crowd went quiet as he put his face almost in my face and went on a rant that I had to obey him as one of the elders of the family, all the while with his hand raised as he would slap me again. He couldn't finish his rant. I punched him to the ground. He stayed down, not unconscious, but quite shaken and shocked that I had hit him. This was apparently what the cops needed as well. The family members were shocked and the cops managed to get them away from me. They were angry. A few of the aunts, uncles, and cousins managed to get to their car and drive away. The rest got to deal with some very mad cops, some fines for breaking social distancing rules, and the possibility that charges might be pressed against them. I'm fine. Had some bruised fingers, uncle had a broken cheekbone, and my lovely cameras are now in the hands of the DA. The other family members have kept away from the mess that happened. To be honest, I feel really bad. I feel like splitting a family because I just don't give out my money. Houseband says that this is money that I worked hard for, so I get to decide what happens. Still, I'm thinking of setting some college funds aside for the rest of the children, though I'm unsure about that. It would also seem that I don't stand my ground and can be swayed with violence, threats, and harassment. I'm so tired of it. It seems like a lot of times when people get a lot of money like this, whether it be through inheritance, through work success, or otherwise, somehow their closest relationships end up getting ruined like this. And a situation like this is even more surprising because it sounds like the OP actually had a very thorough and complete plan. That seemed foolproof. I mean, how can you complain about having your whole mortgage paid off, your kids' college covered, and maybe even a down payment for them in the future, depending on how long it takes them to go to college? I mean, the op even went as far as to compensate the parents for the kid that was already in college, to be fair. So it seems like the op thought of pretty much everything that she could do to make this fair and helpful to her family. That is far more than most people would probably do. But yet the sister-in-law is still bad-mouthing the op through all of that. When, from the way it sounds, the op was very kind not only to her, but to everyone in this family. Casually asking for a $35,000 7-person vacation is just crazy. And it sounds like she's asking for a vacation without the op. Unless I'm misunderstanding that based on the number of people that vacation is for, she wants the op to pay $35,000 for a vacation she won't even be able to be at. And maybe she thinks that's normal because of the precedent that has been set through paying off everyone's mortgage and going on this previous vacation. But wow. Anyway, if you were the op in this situation and you came into a ton of money, how would you spend it? And if you would spend it on your family, how would you avoid a situation like this? If you like this story, please like, comment, and subscribe our YouTube channel Story Podcast Book and hit the bell button for the new story notification.